We are live. It is 3:08 Central Standard Time in the United States, 9:08 GMT in the UK. This is the Nomad Tech Project with Sam and Joe.
Hey.
Coming to you live the first day of December 2024. And folks, if you are near a calendar, what the hell happened to 2024? Holy cow. Now, I know I say this all the time to folks, and it's kind of like it's universal when there's like how fast a year gone. Dude, 2024 for me has been an absolute blur. Usually they are pretty quick, but this year has been, I cannot believe it's already December 1st. It's kind of bonkers.
That earlier, I was like, oh my God, where's the year gone?
Right. And don't worry, as you get older, folks, when you get to be closer to 50, which I turn next year, they're going to accelerate.
My granddad always said that to me. My granddad always said it goes faster when you get older. I was like,
yeah. I just remember when I was a younger person, like it took forever for between when you're waiting for Christmas time. From the end of Thanksgiving to Christmas, it felt like a year. It was
That's what I was going to say, Sam. Like, as a kid, you wait ages for Christmas. Now, as an adult, you're like, "Fuck, it's Christmas so."
Yeah, nobody cares. Nobody wants to do it. Kids want to do it. It's like when it snowed here. Not much in St. Louis. It snowed about maybe 2-3 inches, maybe, and just enough to be irritating. And then it's like kids love snow, but most parents are like, "Guys, fucking care." Right? So it's just kind of funny how the time dilation happens as you get older. We have a couple of people in chat. Jimmy Fire Dragon, obviously, he comes in and he's ready to go. Oh, love Jimmy. And Nick in the chat and Eric. That's speaking of. We have to try to get Eric on here. Maybe not before the end of the year because I know we're kind of getting to that holiday season. I know he's very, very busy. We'll try to see how we can free up some of his calendar and get him on the show to lose an hour of his life that he'll never get back in any kind of meaningful way. And Sean is obviously in the chat. Hey, Joe, got Sean in here. Yes, what up, Sean? Welcome, sir. Hopefully you
Sean.
Now in the United States, I know they don't do this in the UK because it kind of doesn't really have a historical context. We had Thanksgiving on Thursday, and hopefully, everybody had a good time with family and holiday and food. And I've burned through all the leftover turkey.
Good man.
Well, not because we didn't do a full turkey. We only did a turkey breast because my parents do stuff as. And I don't know about you, but we made way too many sides. It was like a side overload. And finally, I just looked at my wife and go, "Fuck, man! Next year we gotta just pick one or two, but we're doing a full bird because it seems like there's not enough leftovers, and I kind of like that stuff."
So, Sam, what's your leftovers of choice? Like, what do you do with your leftovers? Turkey sandwich or? Yeah,
or you know what I do? I'm even more of a kind of a barbarian. I just eat it directly out of the Ziploc bag. Cold, just like an idiot.
Absolutely.
I take the bag out to make a sandwich, right? And I take the bag out, I get the bread out, and then I open the bag, and as I'm kind of getting ready to do the sandwich, I'll just kind of take a snack, and then I realize I'm just hand jamming it into my.
Every time you go to the fridge, basically,
yeah, it's terrible.
The protein topped up, man.
Yeah, and it was good. So we did a good job. So we're done with all that. So hopefully, folks in the United States who celebrated, hopefully they had a good holiday. And if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving because of some other kind of reason, that's cool. Hopefully you had a nice.
Sam, I have a good idea for you. Curry's quite good with leftovers.
Yeah, curry's quite good. Yeah. Well, and actually, my father-in-law, which is something I never heard him utter, he even said, next year we should just go out for dinner on Thanksgiving and just screw this whole thing. And I'm like, okay, Dad, if that's what you want to do, man, I'm in. So hopefully everybody had a good time and. Obviously, we had the football. Quick side note, the Bears finally fired their head coach because he was terrible and atrocious and just a terrible coach. And fun fact for those, and obviously Dan and Joe are not going to have any understanding of this, it's the first time that the Chicago Bears fired a coach mid-season in 105 years. They don't do that ever. So it was that's something. That family does not fire coaches half year, and they got rid of this guy. It was bad. So anyway, the Bears are still going to not make the playoffs. They're still going to suck. But after the last game with the mismanagement, I thought they were going to burn Hallis Hall to the ground. So he's gone. So we're good. So we had a lot of football and that kind of thing. We're running up to that season. So how's it going? We got Dan in the chat. I'm sorry, I kind of went on a 4-minute kind of run there. I'm sorry about that.
It's all right. I like it when you run
and I do like the hat. I think it was the exact same hat. I just like the color scheme. I think it's a fantastic.
It's a good one.
Oh, thanks, mate. Man. Yeah, I like his hat too.
And Joe's now, of course, last week he had his hair done, so he had 3 out of 4 he had the hat on. So last week he was all dialed up, ready to go, and which is funny because we were supposed to have Ace on, but he couldn't make it. So that's okay. We just had Joe and his hair. That's okay. We're gonna try to reschedule. So how you been, Dan? What's been going on with life in general? And I know you've got the bunch of phonies, and we can talk about all that, and also some camera upgrades and channel stuffing thing. How's all that going? What's been going on?
Channel stuff sort of just slow. I've not been doing loads of it just because work's been just busy.
That's good.
Super busy, and yeah, it's 2 weeks tomorrow. All being well, that our child will be born. So it's
oh, close, man. I'm excited. I can't. It's nerve wracking. Trust me.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. I am looking forward to it.
Yeah,
definitely.
Good deal.
So yeah, it's just been a busy time of year. But yeah, new camera, which I'm using at the minute actually. And yeah, it's been good. It's been good. It's actually, I know I was saying like the year's gone really quick, but like it's been a good year. It's been a really good year.
Yeah, mine's been
just enjoyed it.
Because it started off all right, and then sort of went south a bit, but then it's like just gone full speed ahead, and everything's been great for me. So
yeah, and then, like for me, it hasn't been a bad or good year. It's just been kind of like I guess pedestrian. Nothing really has happened. It's been pretty just like stable. Work's been normal as always, but it's just been kind of
stable's good though.
No, no. At this point in my life, good. I will take stable. I will take just things kind of just happening. Nothing really super great happened. Nothing really tremendously bad happened. It's just been just kind of plugging through. But I did notice that, and I just when we first got on a little bit, I was like, man, it's already December 1st, and I know everybody always says the years go by quick, but man, this 2024 for me was just like a blur. I cannot believe we're already basically finishing out a year. It's pretty crazy. So. And then I noticed that means we're going to get all the, the end of year stuff with, I saw Aaron already made his video on the, I guess the best.
Yeah, I've not watched any yet.
Yeah.
I have not watched either.
We talked about it yesterday on the phone is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I haven't watched it. There's some surprising picks from him in there, but quite interesting.
Right. And yeah, Delavan is on the Disruptors. They're on right now, currently, obviously. So if you are technologically inclined, you can split the deal, listen to us, and then listen to them. They go on Friday at the same time we do.
But you could catch them later. Just watch us for now. I mean,
live stream, you can catch them later, or you can just or whatever, listen to us, listen to them, or do whatever you want to do because it's your life and it's okay. We don't mind. We don't take it.
It's true. It's your life, but.
Yeah, it's true. It's your life. But
if you're smart, you'd listen to us.
Right, exactly. And then catch Darren and Jason and Delavan later because they're three pretty.
They're
great.
Good people.
They're great guys. I like all three of those guys. Yeah. So anyway, what I see Joe's is on his phone right now. He's got the was it the Vivo? Yeah, the Vivo.
No, this is the Honor.
The Honor. So
yeah,
now you guys can get those to your carrier, right? So that's an O2 thing.
Yes.
Okay. And is that how you got those devices? Is okay.
Yes.
And,
on my contract.
And that's the sucky part, and why I wasn't able to go either. I would have gone Honor. I would have gone Vivo. I would have gone any other foldable. But AT&T does not carry anything other than the Fold 6. And actually, my friend upgraded to it, and I actually got hands on with it. I really think I don't know. Maybe it's just because I only had it in my hand for maybe half an hour. I think it feels a lot different and than the Fold 5. I know everybody's like, oh, there's not much to it. I went,
It is more squared off.
Yeah, it's more squared off. It felt different. It was a little wider, and even I know it's only a millimeter. I know that really isn't much, but
it makes a difference.
I don't know, man. It just felt more sturdy. I don't know.
Every millimeter counts, Sam. That's what I've always said to all the ladies.
Right, exactly. If you're delivering it to the ladies, every millimeter counts. It's just about
millimeter.
Rhythm. Oh god, about rhythm and leverage.
Low point, eh?
Right? Yeah, it's okay. Anyway, so I just noticed that, like I said, when I open it, with his, I just open it up and it's just like it again. Not that the Fold 5 is in any way flimsy. I was like, wow, I really noticed the difference in
Yeah.
the way the phone felt just from a hardware perspective. It was really, really nice. But again, I would like to. I honestly, if I got the Pixel 9 Pro XL, but honestly, I would have got the 9 Fold if it was available. I couldn't. So I was like, well, and the problem is what's more important, foldable or software? When it came to a Pixel, it really was the software. I miss everything about Pixel software. There's things that I just have come to really like, and it's really bugging me.
I like my 9 Pro, man. I really like it. It's even though I've got the 8 Pro. I mean, I've still got to sand that off because that's part of the trading towards it. But like even though they've not really changed that much, they are quite noticeable refinements. Like you do notice the differences, and it's so much smoother. That's one thing I've noticed as well. It's smoother
That's Google for you, isn't it? Because I think from the 6 Pro to 7, 7 to 8, it's just there.
There's always been those sort of slight niggles with it. It's like there's always been something that's just sort of not felt quite there since the 6 series, and like with this, it feels like I'm using something that's powered by something that's not Tensor.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or even just a different way. I mean, it's the closest. And again, I use an iPhone for work, but I don't use it very often. But it's as far as using the device, it really feels honestly like it's the closest thing, hardware and software, to a polished, like iPhone kind of experience. And I only say that only because iPhone has had they have the chipset iterations. They've been using the Bionic chips for a while now. It finally feels like it has finally come into its own, I guess, as it were. Which is going to be interesting because I'm curious to see how the TSMC chips next year are going to be much different. But I think everybody's so impressed with the 9 series. I think they were thinking the 9 is going to be probably pretty good, but then we're waiting for the 10 because it's going to be so much better. But I think by using this, there will be improvements obviously in the chipset, but I think software wise, I don't know much more they can do. This is pretty solid and pretty stable.
I think it's rumored the chipset's not going to be as drastic a difference this time around as what people were hoping.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
I would imagine it's still going to end up being more efficient, and obviously slightly more capable either way. But it's the 9. Honestly, like I don't find any issue with it. Like I'm getting I've got the regular 9 Pro. I've not got the XL for a change. I decided to go for the smaller version because we've not had that since the Pixel 4 and 4 XL, where we've had like 2 versions with the same camera setup. And I just wanted to go for that version because it's like same size like an iPhone or 15 Pro sort of size.
Yeah.
And the battery life on that has been far better for me than what my 8 Pro is with a bigger battery. So just all around, it just feels fantastic. So I've got no problem recommending it. The only thing is like I'm slightly begrudged to recommend it to people at full price.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like the chipset's not worth the price. I know we've probably talked about this on Phonies before.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that is fair. When it was a little bit cheaper than Samsung, it felt like a good deal, right? But now it's pretty much the same price. It seems.
Yeah. I mean, when Pixel 6 came out, I mean, what was that, like $599 or something? Like for the base Pixel 6.
Yeah.
And then
that's crept up slowly.
The Pro was what, like 800? I can't remember what it was, like 749, 800, something like that.
My thing though is, Dan, they need to drop 128 as the base.
Yes. That's the other thing that I'm a little bit annoyed about. I mean, I've only got the 128.
Yeah. But it should be standard. 256 should be the base model, in my opinion. But they'll continue doing it, no doubt.
Well, I think Apple have moved away from that now, haven't they, on the Pros?
Well, it's weird. The Pro does 128, but the Pro Max does 256.
Oh, they've still got that up there.
Yeah, it's strange.
Is that the same with Google then? Do they have 128 on both variants? Is it just a normal? Is it just a regular Pro? I wonder if they've done the same thing.
Good question. I've got 512.
I mean, the thing is, like, I realized that I wasn't really using much in the way of storage anyway.
Yeah, because we use so
just
much
went
cloud, don't we?
Yeah, I'm not really. I'm not recording loads of videos on a Pixel, and I'm not downloading loads of games. So I'm not using the storage.
Yeah,
128, 128 for me on a Pixel in particular is completely fine. If I want an Xperia, I want a bit more because I'm recording video more.
Right.
Then you've got the SD card expansion as well.
I was about to say that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I know. Talking of Pixels, right, Dan? So I know this is something you've been considering. I would be tempted to give the 9 Pro Fold a go, switching up to that. The prices are not bad at the moment. It is very tempting.
It is.
Yeah.
It's super tempting, but
that'd make Sam really jealous.
No, no, yeah, hey, sweetheart. Sorry,
that was a really good impression, though.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good for
I thought it was all right. Yeah, thank you. The only thing is, Joe, is that the Oppo's available.
Yeah, that is a thing.
I'm kind of leaning towards that just because I want to try the Dimensity and see if the Oppo cameras are actually. I mean, the hardware, even though everyone's like, well, it's a little bit disappointing. It's like, well, it's still better than the bloody Pixel. In terms of hardware. So, if the
I loved
it should still be really good.
I love the OnePlus 12, and it's kind of on that sort of hardware, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
I guess the only problem I have with the OnePluses is just it has none of the Google feature. Like, I guess it doesn't have the circle search, right? Did it have all that stuff, or was it still?
It's going to come, Sam. It is going to come, I think, because
Oppo made a deal, right? Oppo made a deal with Google or something.
Yeah, because I mean, the Honor's got circle search, so it's hitting down other Android devices now.
The Motorola's got it.
Yeah.
Circle
so it just right? I know. So you both have the Honor. So obviously the hardware obviously seems like it's pretty solid, but I know a lot of people have complained about software issues. But is it like using? Well, I remember the only time I remember I haven't had a chance to use. Well, I did have Harmony OS, I think, on my P30, like right at the end. But is it pretty close to a Huawei style software experience?
Never used Huawei, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay, because I'm curious.
I can't remember. I had a P30 Pro for ages, and I actually can't remember. I've had so many phones since.
Right, and I'm just curious because I know that Honor is kind of like, I know that's the spiritual successor to Huawei.
I think you'd get on with the software fine once you actually set it up and get it sort of how you want it to be. It's fine.
It's fine. I never had a problem with using a Huawei device, even when on the Mate 30 I didn't have Google services on it. It didn't really bother me that much. I seemed to get around some of it. And the only thing that really kind of sucked was the banking app. That kind of stunk. That kind of stunk a little bit because I do use that quite a bit. But then I was able to get around that with using the browser-based, right? So I could use a browser-based login. It started to feel like the old days of Windows Phone when you was like, oh, well, I can't have an app for it, so I have to use browser workarounds to kind of get this thing to work, right?
Yeah.
And then bummer fact, Telegram finally broke on a Windows Phone. I can't. It needs an update. It won't update and it won't work. Like if you try to launch this, it requires an update. When you try to update it, it doesn't. It just broke. So finally, like the one last vestige of
final nail.
I think that final nail of actually being able to use that. I have to use Telegram because that's how I'm. No, I don't have to. I guess we could use SMS still, but that finally broke the other day. I tried to log into my 950, and I try to open the app to text Anna, and it crashed, and it says you must need an update. When I try to update it, it says no longer updating. I'm like, oh,
Sam, your only folding device is the Duo now. And talking of giving older devices some life, have you seen Steve Litchfield's put Android 15 on an OG Duo?
I actually listened to him and Shane's show.
Shane, he was on there.
Yeah, he was on the phone show chat, and folks, if you haven't listened to that, if you're anywhere in the neighborhood of interested in foldables or any of that kind of stuff, check that show out. They have a really obviously Steve and Ted do a great job, but but he's on that show. Yeah, at that point he hadn't looked at it, but either, and Shane hadn't even, he'd heard of it, and that's really about it. But he even made a video about putting Android 15 on his Duo, and it looked pretty not hard to do. If you're, if you have any experience in flashing ROMs, this should be pretty straightforward to you. He gives a good guide, but I
might give it a go.
I honestly, I would like to see, because the only reason that stops me from really using my Duo is really just because the battery life is, I don't know, either it's a rogue app or something going on. Because when I had the first Duo before, I didn't get great battery life, but it wasn't miserable. And I haven't done a lot of charge cycles on this device. And I factory reset it and tried it, and it worked pretty good. But there's got to be something that's just blowing through that battery, because I can't get 2 hours and it's already half, and then it's like I almost can't use the device. If I try to use like I would normally use a device throughout the day, especially on a day off, it'll probably be dead by 2 o'clock. It's really so something's going on with it. I don't know what's going on. So
yeah, that's not right.
But yeah, if you're looking, if you still have a Duo hanging around, I know it's absolutely awesome to me that Android 15 ROM can work as well, and it hits all the gaps that it does on a Duo. I mean, there's some, obviously you've got the seam, so on the keyboard you got to do split keyboard. There's some things that don't probably work great, but man, for the fact that's an Android 15 Pixel ROM, the fact that it works and hits, that pretty much works 90% of the way, makes that device pretty incredible. That's pretty awesome.
What could have been?
Yeah, could have been.
What could have been? Yeah, it sucks, man. It's just the whole thing just that. So yeah, if you happen to have a Duo around and you're like me who wants to keep it around and wants to kind of play with it, and you have an OG Duo sitting in your drawer or cabinet, or you can get one for maybe a couple $100, just as a kind of a fun device. Cheap. Try it out, man. Cheap. Give it out.
Do you know what I find though, Sam? What is it with everyone who's got an OG Duo has a cracked back on it?
Right. It's kind of like an iPhone. They almost have to come pre-cracked when you buy them. I think when they sell them, and I think they're cracked. The screens are cracked or the back is cracked.
Well, the one I got loaned by my mate had no cracks.
Yeah, no, mine's got a crack right across. I know Shane's does as well. I think Steve Litchfield's does. I know mine does. I know Joe does. And it will, eventually, if you use it enough, Dave,
clumsy
will.
people.
It's a cracking phone.
You will.
Phone, yeah.
You will develop a crack in the back of your Duo. It's okay. But not on the screen though.
Very good for you,
back glass. That's why I got the. That's why I got the extremeskins.co.uk. Got the extreme skin on it. It's been on since I put it on there, and it's been bulletproof, man.
You don't even need to know that it's cracked.
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't even know. And that leather one gives it a bit more grip.
Yeah, I like it. And I get the little. I get the lavender. I guess it's lavender color. It's really good. I like it. So yeah, you have a component that's got a crack back. You don't want to get rid of it, but you don't want to show this big crack in the back. Get yourself one. Go check them out. I'll pop on over there real quick and order a couple, 4 or 5. Get them for all sorts of stuff.
You don't want to be showing off your crack, man.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Your builder's bum.
Crack is whack. Just saying. So cover it with extreme skin. Yeah, there you go. So there's our plug. We did wait till the end of the show. We got it in within the first 25 minutes. So good.
That's good for us. Very good.
We're improving.
Yeah.
Anyway, so so what is 2025 look? I guess, this is the first time that I've kind of come into a new year where I'm kind of looking at all the phones and I go, okay. I guess it doesn't feel like anything. It's all, okay, we'll have a Fold 7. We'll have the S25 series of stuff. We'll have, obviously, the OnePlus 13, I guess, is already out, right? So we're already doing that. Mm-hmm. And then, but for folks like me in North America, we're not going to get the Honors and the Vivos and the Red Magics and all that kind of stuff. So is there
folds like Galaxy Folds, Flips? Well,
they're going to be open too.
Soon.
Yeah,
open too.
I'm assuming, but I haven't heard anything about that. Do they have any kind of roadmap for when they're going to either develop or get that out there? Because I haven't heard anything about it.
I've heard rumors of Oppo canceling foldables.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Well, that means that the Open would be cancelled as well because it's the same.
Yeah, they're exactly the same. Yeah, essentially.
We'll have to wait and see, but I would imagine we would hear something in the next few months.
Yeah, because that's a foldable I would be very interested in.
The Open for me was the one foldable I was like, that looks absolutely spot on for me. You've got the camera system from the OnePlus 12, which is already excellent.
Yeah.
And then
that's the one that got away that I've not tried.
Yeah.
And it's available here. You can buy it.
You can pick one up, and that's probably a lot more affordable than any kind of like Pixel. Well, maybe not the original Pixel Fold, but I know if you're looking for a 9 Fold, I'm sure it's cheaper than that.
I think it was selling for like $12.49 or something like that.
Let me see.
See, I'm saving money because I want to buy a camera, which Dan has recently bought. A couple.
A couple.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, a couple, but one of them should be going. Well, it might be. We'll see.
Oh yeah.
What? Well, it looks like you can get.
I got that. I got the S5, which is
beautiful.
It's pretty nice. But I'm thinking, that'll be really handy for like photography, especially if the weather's a little bit mixed, because it's weather sealed and whatnot. But the other one I've got that I'm using, the S9, which is like the latest Lumix, basically.
Was that you on now?
Sealed. I'm on now, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Background blur. You can't see the boxes. It's all furniture, just furniture for the child.
He's showing us up that Sam with our phone. Oh, are you using a webcam, Sam? Are you
35mm lens as well?
Yeah, I just it's the same thing I've always used.
I have a blurry hand.
It's the Logitech one. It's the one I've used since the beginning of the show. I've had this for years, so it's just
E920. Boom.
I don't know which one it is.
E922. Boom.
2 now. Yeah, this is the one it actually came with the bundle when I had the Logitech mic, and then that's the one that the housing broke on it. So then I tried to do the XLR and I couldn't get that to ever really work great. And then I bought this. This HyperX has been great, dude.
Oh, you mean during your very challenging mic period?
Yeah, I tried where you go back and look at those shows, and it's just like I could not get the gain to work. I'm
not gonna lie though, it was entertaining stuff.
Yeah, it's just like watching me just struggle.
He was getting,
dude. I was so mad, and then I couldn't, and then I would listen to after the show. I would take the audio and I'd rip it, and you could just see
the level of anger you could see in his
just
face.
This kind of difference in like Joe's audio output and mine. It was just like I was like, oh my god, what are we doing?
You're just slowly losing the will to live. It was
right, and I was just like, I'm just gonna take the cord that just wrap around my neck and just jump off a building, right? It's just like I couldn't, and finally I just gave up. I was like, I can't. I clearly, with the Focusrite and the XLR, I just could not. I had to give in. I tapped out. I couldn't. It's a shame. I still got it. I kept it because maybe somebody one day I could figure it out maybe at some point. But I went out and bought this, and this honestly, this HyperX has been really, really good. Like
Quadcast. Podcast?
Yeah,
podcast.
I don't know. It beats me. I don't
gaming microphone.
Yeah, it's got the stuff on the back like that. Yeah. So it was just a gaming mic. I just like it because it's got the lights. I mean, it's cool. Like I don't really care. You can't see
it. Get that in shot, Sam.
RGB.
Quite a fancy looking one.
Makes it sound better.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I like
that RGB on your PC. It makes it faster.
Yeah, and that's what it is. And I got it on my.
That's fact.
Yeah. Right. I mean, you should just get in on it, right? So it's all good, but yeah, man, it's really honestly it's easy because I just plug it in. I don't have to worry about messing with it or gain, and it's been pretty good. Like I've really been impressed with it. I didn't spend a whole lot of money. It was great. So, but anyway, oh wait, Mobile Man Dan,
hey,
in the chat. Welcome, sir. Thank you for swinging on by. If you're listening to chat, thank you very much. And if you want to download the podcast later, if you have to dip out, that's cool too. We appreciate all the people decide.
Dan does some really good written stuff. You should put his link there. He does some really good written reviews,
which is good because I'm kind of starting to like the written reviews. I'm kind of getting away from the videos. I would prefer just to read some of the articles and stuff and just read those because I think I like the fact that when it comes to the video part of it, I almost get distracted by the video and not really paying attention to what's actually being said. Whereas when I'm reading it, I can just focus on the content of what's being written in the article. And I really, really think that I think I prefer that when it comes to written reviews or written. I like. Plus, also, it's easier. Well, I gotta be careful because I don't want to disparage anybody necessarily inadvertently, but I think it feels to me that it's easier to get on a video, even if you have a script and talk through, like audibly talk through like the camera and the lighting and this and the audio and the speakers and the battery life, right? As opposed to writing an article, I think that it requires more to me, it would be harder for me to do that. Where I'm not a great
little
writer.
bit more finesse.
Yeah, it requires a little bit more proofreading and a little bit. You have to change some wording or some sentence structure to kind of.
I think they've both got their merits. For me, like I've tried to do videos.
I try and write up like reviews and things. So it takes me a little bit longer to do stuff, but if I'm trying to outline a script,
can form your script,
I'll write it out. Yeah, exactly. That's what I do.
Yeah. Right. I just, for me, it would think that it would take more effort and time and I don't want to say skill because that's not, but it would for the fact that Mobile Man Dan has written articles, to me, that feels like it has a little bit more of, you have to put a little bit more work in to get that to land.
Yeah.
The same as, and also a lot of people too now they're okay with maybe watching a video for 9 minutes, but they're not okay with reading an article they want the TLDR in an article. They don't want to read the whole 9 minute. I was like, how hard is it to read a 9 minute article?
People just want stuff now. TikTok.
Right.
See, I read slowly. That's my issue.
Well,
doesn't disparage me from doing it. I like to read articles. But then you've always got AI guys. You can always get it to read it out for you.
Well, this is the thing. There's a lot of sites are doing that now, right? They're getting AI to write the stuff for them.
Oh yeah, that's the other side of things.
That's well dodge.
Yeah, that is dodge. But using AI to read it out for you is good.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously I did that little stint at Windows Central, and I did learn a lot from that, and it's really good to sort of see how that sort of thing works, sort of behind the scenes. Yeah, there's so much more to it. Like, it's just as there always is with these things, but it's for me, I found that more difficult than doing YouTube videos. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I read Nick's comment. It's like flooded. I think it's just too much now. I think I guess if you're looking for now, I will. My argument would be is if you're looking for a phone that is not as reviewed, like if you're looking maybe for like what Dan was talking, like with the Moto series, or a phone that is not going to be a mainstream phone. It's kind of nice that everybody is, but if you're looking at like a Pixel or Samsung or any kind of major, like obviously, and are we still reviewing iPhones? And do people actually do that anymore? I mean,
I think the trouble is a lot of the reviews aren't really reviews. They're just
adverts.
They're infomercials or adverts, right? Yeah, and
they're just reading from spec sheets. There's no actual using of certain things,
right? And I guess honestly, if you're buying an iPhone, are you actually paying attention to a review? I mean, would you? I don't know. Now, if you may be switching to one, if you're like, hey, I've been on Samsung, or I've been on a Pixel, or I've been on a basic Moto, I want to try to see what this iPhone's about. But yeah, it's just, I think if you're looking for content that is about a phone that's maybe not as mainstream, like a Moto, like a Flip or a Razr, or something like that, or anything else, you probably get some pretty decent stuff. But if just search Pixel 9 Pro XL reviews and just do that as a YouTube search, and there's literally hundreds. And my question is going to be, and this is part of the reason why I don't get involved in this. One, I don't have the energy to do it. But two, you're going to get buried in all the chaff, man. I just don't understand. It's over. I mean, not over. And again, I say that with two gentlemen on the chat who are trying to do all that reviews, and they actually do great content. And
I'm not trying very hard.
Well, it's hard. It's when you have it's trying to do a comprehensive, good, not just doing infomercials or advertisements. You want to present it. It's really hard to kind of get into that swing of things with all these kind of devices. It just kind of bums me out because I think the golden age of YouTube reviews, I think we're over it. I think it's kind of done.
I think we are. I think it's saturated. There's still room to do something if you can find a way of doing something that's a little bit different. But in terms of the phone space, because there's we keep losing phones, brands, and brands that are trying to do things differently. Sony's probably on the edge of leaving the market as well, I would imagine.
Right.
Like, what is different? What's different? There's nothing that is actually different.
No, not really.
Anything else on the market? They're all trying to be iPhones.
Yeah, even software and hardware.
Like an iPhone.
Well, I mean, and I guess people could, and to your point, Dan, that's a great. I'm glad you said that because I think it has not dismissed my mind that finally Pixel is finally getting some success as it is now looking more software and hardware like an iPhone, and more people are transitioning to coming off an iPhone, and also because iPhone 16 really isn't moving the needle for a lot of the iPhone crowd. I think after like 10 years, some of these people are like, look, I've been rocking an iPhone for a long time. I want to see what Android's got going on, because I think they seem like between Samsung and Google, they may have something going on. At least I want to try to investigate and see if I could switch. Oh, now the flippables, right? There's been a Canadian lady I found on TikTok that she had a pretty bad issue with with her or Samsung Flip, right? She had a Flip. But the fact that they're kind of doing those things, I think Dan's right on. I think it's just it's more iPhone-esque. So I think we're getting to that where it's starting to get to a homogenization of devices where, you know, phones have just become more commodities and more just a thing you have to have. Like and people are okay with having a different case and different screen, different like skin to kind of make it look different. But honestly, if you look at most people,
I think it's just why you see such a focus on cameras as well now. But it's always it's always just comparisons in the most basic of modes, whatever focal lengths are available,
right?
How much it can zoom at like 100 times when you aren't going to use that. The I don't know. I see a lot of camera comparisons now compared to what they used to be. I feel more so, because that seems to get the views in. I'm quite happy to watch one of, say, Jermaine's videos on the cameras, because he's breaking it down from the point of somebody who does photography. So you can actually see the differences, and is showing you the difference in approach of each brand. Whereas you'll get somebody else doing a video, just general things, and it's just like, well, this one looks better. It's like, why does it look better? You can't say why half the time. It's just like, oh, this one looks better.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no.
They should be saying it's subjective as well, isn't it? Because you're sitting there watching, actually, you're thinking, well, I think that one looks better myself.
I mean, like Xiaomi have gone for a particular sort of, style to their photos, where it's a little bit more blown out, it's a little bit more camera-like, and straight away it's like, oh, the HDR is not very good.
Yeah, because Sony could be a bit like that as well.
Well, yeah. It's a different approach, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, if you take an actual camera and do that, and see what the results are, like, it's are they going to say, well, the HDR is terrible?
What's more important is the data that's in the raw file.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. Like, when you look at the ultra phones and things, there's so many different features and things that are there. It's you really need to break down what it does and what it does well, rather than just taking a few auto shots and saying, well, this one looks better.
Yeah.
Like, people are spending like well over $1,000 on these phones, and they're reviewing it like it's a budget phone. Yeah,
and they don't go into a lot of the things that it has, like the styles and stuff like that a lot of these phones have, like obviously
styles, raw modes,
the Leica stuff,
just all sorts. They've got all sorts of options.
Just don't waste your time on Pluto. It's not even a full planet anymore. I would say, maybe Uranus. It's far away, but it's still on the list.
It was a
right?
planet in my books.
It should be too, because I think Pluto's getting no love. But I'm just saying. But I think to the point now is like all the phones are pretty good, batteries are pretty good, right? It's now. I don't think there's any phone that came out in 2024 where the battery life has been horrendous, unless it was like a budget device or a device that you kind of knew that, hey, I'm only spending £200. But the funny thing is, those phones, because they have such a lower end chipset, and now companies are mating that with like a 4,500 or a 5,000 milliamp battery, and you have maybe a lower end MediaTek or any other processor. It's like now the battery life is really good, right? So like all these phones have really good battery life. The software is pretty decent. It's pretty. I mean, you may not get the updates, but most regular people don't care about that. I mean, hell, most people don't even update their phones. I mean, how many times are you going to walk around and see how many people are like using? Oh, I have Android 14. I'm on Android 12. Like, oh, what's the difference? Not much, I guess. Whatever. But yeah, the only difference is really the camera tech. That's what's not only driving the views, but that's really the only differentiation in these between Samsung and Google and Apple, and then some of these other, like the Chinese manufacturers. But if you're in North America, you don't have access to those anyway, so you don't really care about that. You're just basically looking at, maybe 3 or 4 OEMs now, because HTC's gone, LG's gone, Sony is not really available in North America. None of the Chinese OEMs are available in North America. So for North American markets, you probably getting a Samsung or a Moto or maybe an iPhone.
There is one thing, Sam, that they always compare now, that's become a trend, and that's how smooth Genshin Impact runs.
What is that about? Who do you even play that game? I don't even play it. I tried to play it a couple times. I'm like, yeah.
The thing is, it's a really poorly optimized game as well on mobile. Like,
clearly,
really bad, really bad. And so they're saying, "Oh, look how much it's pushing the phone." It's like, well, it's really unoptimized, so it's not going to run that well. So you have to like brute force it, which doesn't really show anything to do with the actual performance of the SoC in my books. You need something comparable to actually be able to compare it properly. I think Juan does a really good job of actually doing real world tests and showing what the SoCs can do. Like if you went off benchmarks, Snapdragon looks stronger, but generally the Dimensity beats it in actual tests. So, I can't be doing with this Genshin Impact thing. It does my head in. It does my head in. Terrible game as well. And
No offense to the Genshin Impact players.
It's like doing the most basic of comparisons.
Yeah.
Like, this game runs at 60 FPS. Okay.
Brilliant.
Right. Okay. This other phone drops 1 more FPS, does it? Oh gosh.
Oh, it runs at 55.
Oh well, the more you know.
Terrible. Yeah. Have we ever used the Umidigi? I have not.
No.
I've never. No.
I'd try one. Matter of fact, I know. Hopefully, Eric is still in chat. I know he's all. I would try. Some of those other. What was the other one that he has? Oh, I can't remember. I'm drawing a blank on it. The ones that have the physical keyboard. Oh, Unihertz. I try. I would try. Honestly, God, if I knew it would run on AT&T, I would try. I mean, a Unihertz. Fuck, why not? Yeah, who cares?
It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I
just
like
I had a camera update for it, and it actually fixed a lot of things. It was quite good.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I knew if I could run that thing and it actually ran pretty, I mean, hell, I would still use my. I told you I picked up the original Key 1, and it's so. I don't know if it got worse, but man, if that was the way the phone came out back then, it's not even usable. I can't. It will not even bring up the text messaging. It's
wow.
You know what's funny is that phone's not that old, but yet I fire it by 1520 and everything just runs like this.
Lies.
Like if I just launch the messaging app, fine. If I make a phone call, fine. If I launch Outlook, fine. If I launch OneDrive, fine. It runs it opens up just as fast. And that's
so you said about phones are the same. It's funny you say that. Actually, like the mid-range and budget end, that's where things are being tested and used. So like the TCL, you got the Next Paper screen. That's quite an interesting.
They've done all
interesting device. Yeah,
like with foldables and different types of screens. They're just really pushing the boat out.
But that's where
that's really the only real innovations and now is in the lower end, right? It's the mid range and the web. That's really the when it comes to the Googles, the Samsungs with the Pixels. Yeah, there's gonna be some differences, but for the most part, dude.
I love this phone, man.
Bring nothing phone to the US as a proper phone. I know they won't, but man, that CMF looks great, dude. It's just a cool looking phone,
and it's so nice. And it just feels like in hand. I love the feel of it. More than any other phone that I've got.
The feeling I get is they actually care about end users.
That blue is really nice. I
had the black.
No, that blue with the screws and the bottom thing in the bottom. Yeah, dude, it looks really slick.
But yeah, that's obviously the color from the other one that I had, and I just decided to change it. Like the screws are off color as well. There's black and silver. So I just mixed everything up.
Who gives a shit?
I just mixed it all up, and it looks great.
You can probably do like anybody else when you're trying to put something together. Just leave a screw missing because that's how you would normally do if you're putting anything else in your house. Like,
yeah.
Oh,
that screw's not needed.
This motherboard had 5 screws. I only see 4.
But you know what? This is what I kind of find a little bit annoying, though, is that where everybody focuses on the performance of these flagship phones and like, oh, we've got this Snapdragon 8 Elite that can, is basically like a laptop chip, and nobody's making use of that power.
No.
Right. Mm-hmm. And then you get the nothing phone, CMF phone, 200 quid. This feels as smooth to use as any other phone I've got in general use. It's amazing. It feels absolutely fantastic. I kind of feel like it should be there needs to be more conversation about the budget side of things, even mid-range. Because the mid-range now is almost like how flagships were a few years back. There's some really good devices in there.
Dude, and you can pick one up right now for $230.
Yeah.
8 gig, 128 gig of RAM.
Yep.
$230. Dude, it's like, it's so cool. And the fact that it's got the interchangeable design, the light green.
The updates, man, the updates have been coming rapid as well. Like, they just keep pushing updates out and improving things and camera updates. And
Dan, do they come through like nothing?
Exactly the same, exact full change.
Yeah, that change looks so good.
Fantastic.
So good.
I mean, they are so good with these things. I'm really looking forward to the Nothing Phone 3. But I'm also really looking forward to seeing how they develop this CMF series, because that to me is, if they bring out the next CMF phone with a similar sort of design but add in the NFC, which is missing from this,
right?
I could quite easily run that as my main phone. The only reason I can't run this as my main phone is because there's no NFC, so I can't do payments, and I use that all the time. That's it.
Well, you like that OnePlus you had, didn't you? What was that? The metal back one.
Nord 4.
Nord 4, yeah.
Man, I've had
another mid-range.
Maybe the Nords are fun, but I had it, and the N300 or whatever.
I have to say that Nord 4 is an immense phone.
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic. If I wasn't so picky with like cameras and things on phones, and I wanted to have a RAW mode effectively, and there isn't one on that phone. Even this has it. This has a RAW modes, Pro modes. Jeez, and like they didn't have that on the Nord 4. But everything else about that phone was unbelievable. I mean, it had a Snapdragon 7 Plus Gen 3. More power in there than the Pixel. More power in there than the Pixel, by far. And it was really efficient. Battery life was crazy. So yeah. I just find the it's like Pixel 2 XL sort of metal back, Not had one of those for a while. So I just find the budget in the mid-range so much more interesting now. And I kind of feel like, because I'm now moving into cameras, I'm not really focused on the camera phones as much.
Yeah. So you're more about the usage of it as a phone.
Or even the foldables. If you go into the high end, it has to be like foldable.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think they're sharp looking. Like I said, it looks like, according to AT&T's whitelist, the only phone that it seems like they allow, right, and this list is as of 10/18/2024. The only phone is the Nothing Phone 2. So,
good phone still. They've neglected it a little bit though.
We've got a hyperbaric goat in the chat.
Oh, we do. Oh,
John Trimmer.
Oh yeah. So
he's also from Donny at the moment. Donny as well.
So I guess the question is, Dan. So
pick up Donny.
You know how I got around the not having NFC on the OG Duo was having a wearable, right?
Yes,
having a watch, whatever.
Do have that. Yes.
So it gives you a little bit of, like, if you have a phone that's got an NFC, if you have a watch, you can kind of get around that. Because I know, for obviously, for folks that don't know, the OG Duo didn't have NFC either. So that gives you at least, I mean, so you can still rock the CMF phone, and but you have to have it wearable with you at all times.
I use my TicWatch.
Right.
Nice.
Which, in all fairness, I'm at the point now where I'm like, I don't want to wear a smartwatch anymore. I just want to wear a normal watch.
I went back. What's funny is I could not get the Mi Band 8 to connect to my Pixel 8, but it connects perfectly fine to the Pixel 9 Pro XL.
Dan, you should check
it doesn't make any sense, because I could never get it to sync. I don't know what, it would never recognize the phone or would never recognize the band. But then I thought, well, great. So I got the Pixel, and I thought, well, probably won't work with that either. And sure enough, it came right up, and I was like, okay, why didn't it work on the Pixel 8? That doesn't make any sense. And actually, this is my first Pixel. This is my first Pixel that's not the base model. I had a 6, a 7, and an 8. I've never had the Pro or an XL or anything. And I'm,
it's in the difference.
Well, definitely if I'm like, consuming. And here's the thing. I think it's because I will tell you that sometimes I'm like looking up stuff on the internet, like I'm researching something, like on a game I'm playing. And man, it was so nice having the foldable because I had that. I do have a tablet. Technically, I have a Nexus 7 2013 tablet. And then I realized I forgot that I basically wiped the OS and forgot to flash a new ROM. So when I try to boot it up, I'm like, oh shit, I didn't flash a ROM. It's like there was no OS installed. I went, oh yeah, I didn't get around to doing that. Okay. So I'll probably have to do it at some point because I will actually want to use it. But I tell you, it was really nice having that foldable because if I was like doing some research or reading an article or like for Astroneer, there's some walkthroughs or wikis. It's really nice to have that larger canvas. It works pretty good on this, but honestly, doing it on a slab is kind of a hassle after you've had foldables or anything like that. It really sucks having to go to a basic slab when you're using that kind of workflow. It really kind of sucks. And I honestly, it's more irritating, so I haven't done it. But I forgot to tell you, it's funny. I upgraded to the Pixel 9 Pro XL, and the same day this came in the mail.
Oh yeah,
so it hasn't gotten used at all.
Oh, the wing, man!
Because I went to take it the other day, but I've showed somebody the Add Me feature
one of those phones
on the Pixel, and it blew their mind away.
Yeah,
and I hadn't really messed with it that much, so I was kind of like learning it too.
I saw an advert for it actually before I came away from the TV a little bit early, just for the because Pixel's in partnership with Liverpool Football Club here.
Oh yeah,
so
that's cool.
There's some Liverpool players doing the Add Me thing.
Yeah, and I said, well, the funny thing was I was selling the Add Me feature, but then learning how to use it just myself. So we were both kind of like, I don't really know how this is going to turn out. This is going to be kind of fun, right? And instead of like being like a user of it, but it was really cool. Like I used it a few times, and people were like, and you know what? One of my coworkers, she had been a Samsung person for all these years. She traded up to a Pixel 9 Pro XL because all the stuff I was showing her, she's like, man, this Pixel thing. She's like, I don't know if I'm really kind of concerned because she came up to me, she goes, hey. I know I always have like these themes. They're good lock. I went, yeah, I get rid of that shit. You're not doing that anymore. Now you can flash a ROM on it, or you can flash, a launcher. You can go with somebody and kind of change it up. But she's like, man, I really like that. I said, yeah, well, you're gonna like a lot of other stuff better than that. But it's funny because now on my team, only one person out of 6 people doesn't have a Pixel, and that's everybody else has a Pixel.
I think
my entire team.
I think as soon as you actually see somebody use one and actually get a bit of hands-on time with it, the software convinces you pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Especially if they're using a feature in there that they're like, oh wow, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see. Nick's got a question. I have a question for you guys. Lots of
good question.
How do you use them? Is one for calls and another for photos? Well, so unless you have multiple SIMs, you would have one for calls, right? Because the other one theoretically would have an eSIM. Now, I'm not doing the eSIM thing. As long as the phone's got a physical SIM tray, eSIM can fuck off.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, for me, it would be, I don't know if I would carry 2 phones. I don't really carry 2 phones simultaneously. I have before, but not. Well,
that's because of
these 2, right? I'm just saying these guys do. I'm just saying I don't. What I would do is like the other day I was going to switch to my to Wing on Saturday just to kind of, but I was like, oh wait, I'm going with family. We might take a picture, and I don't want to take the Wing just because I don't think I would have to. But I was like, I was going to switch it out into the Wing, but I thought, no, I'll just keep it in my Pixel. So for me, I wouldn't use 2 phones simultaneously, but these guys do. So for me, it would just be, it would be I might bring the other phone with me in case I want to switch it out or use it for some reason, but I don't use it simultaneously. So maybe Dan and Joe would give you a better how they use 2 phones simultaneously out and about. Yeah.
So for me, my Vivo has become exclusively just for photos. So I carry that with me quite often to take pictures. My SIM is in the V3 at the moment.
So the Vivo is just a camera, right? It's just like having a point and shoot camera with you.
The Vivo pretty much is just a camera, yeah.
Okay.
At the moment, because I did test it though with my SIM in because I couldn't link my watch to it. That was a bit of a deal breaker for me. So it became just a camera phone. But now that my SIM's in the V3 and I'm really enjoying it because I use it for watching YouTube on the bus as well. It's great having that bigger canvas for that.
Mm-hmm.
I've just changed my work phone now. I've got an S24 Ultra as my work phone, which is a banging work phone. As an all-round device, and all the extra bits you get with One UI, it's great. It's great. So I actually had to do a meeting. I wrote it out handwritten at first. I took a picture of it and then put it into notes so that I could have it onto my computer. So that was quite smart.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So it's a great work phone. But yeah, different devices do different things better. I enjoy actually editing on a S24 Ultra as well with the S Pen.
So you do use the S Pen? Okay.
I do, yeah, I do.
Now, is it just now? Do you do it just during the editing phase, or have you used the S Pen for circling something or writing a note? Like I know I've done this before when I had the S22 Ultra, saying stuff to my wife and then like circling like where I wanted her, like if I took a screenshot of something, hey, Arrow, look at this, and sending
things
it to
like
her.
that. It's great for, yeah.
Dude, it's incredible for that kind of stuff. And if you do that quite often, that really has a lot of. I think you have to have a workflow that demands that, but you also have to force yourself to continue to try to force yourself into using that workflow. And it really, and I noticed the problem with having the Fold was I really never used it like I used the Duo.
Yeah.
I use the Duo as a multitasking powerhouse, and it's because the phone forces you to do that, right? It's not one canvas, right, to watch a video or whatever, right? I never found myself really ever using multitasking on the foldables, right? It was great for canvas. I did use it occasionally, but it didn't feel like that was the natural posture of the phone. It was more like, hey, you have a tablet, watch videos and do content and look at shit in a big screen, right?
Yeah.
It's not, hey, you got really essentially the space of two screens, use it like that. Duo was set up to, I'm going to open up on one screen and I'm expecting you to open up on another screen. That's what it was expecting you to do. It was really truly designed to do two screens with different tasks. It was more as a productivity and phone, and the phone was the secondary, obviously. And I still think that I wish somebody would pick up the dual screen. Like I wish Samsung would make not a Fold, but like a can't take the Duo name, but really have a 2-screen multitasking productivity solution for consumers with the same marketing and effort that you put behind Samsung or Apple or Google. Shit, I wish Apple would do it. I'd be okay with a dual screen iOS device as much as I'd hate using iOS. Dude, I'd
like to see. I'd like to see a tablet that folded like the Duo.
Yeah, you can't call it the Deuce because everybody's gonna think you're taking this shit. So I can't call it the Deuce. I like that thinking though, mind. That's a good idea.
Surface Neo would have been that.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm telling you, if the Neo came to market and was like shown to people, I think it would have blown their heads off. I think they'd be like, "Holy shit!"
I'd have loved something like that,
dude. Especially if it make and also dual boot Android and a Windows operating system.
Oh yeah,
and then allow it to flash a third. You can flash a Linux build.
I mean, something like that now with like one of the current Snapdragon chips in there, like that.
Yeah, but can you imagine like also or giving the choice that you can customize it? So if you wanted, you had a partition where you could throw a Linux build on it. Like if you want to throw Ubuntu or you want to throw a Linux build, if you were doing any kind of like Linux stuff, dude, I can tell you a lot of people that are doing software development and Linux stuff, dude, they would have loved having a device like the Neo to do.
Sam, going back to Nick's question quickly as well. The other thing that I do with all these devices, when an update comes through, I pick it up and have a good play, see what's new, see what's changed. Because I quite enjoy that as a geek. I'm sure Dan probably does the same. Like a new update comes through. Like an AI features added or something like that. You have a little play, don't you?
I don't.
You don't? Oh, see, I love all that. I love that.
I'm just not that bothered.
I love an update.
I mean,
Jermaine's swinging on thing. Hey, he knows that bloke in the middle. I don't know what the bloke is.
Oh, I'm in the middle. Okay.
Yeah, you bloke in the middle. Okay.
We sandwiched you.
Oh dear.
Right, like an Oreo.
Oh no!
Right, he's the creamy white filling.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh,
You had to go
Okay.
there.
Yeah, anyway,
Oh. Back to the question that Nicholas asked. My Sim's in my Pixel 9 Pro,
there you go.
and I just find that right now to be a really good all-round phone. The AI features are solid. The software itself is really useful. Google's software is just the most useful software on a phone, in my opinion.
Right.
And I just find that just a good, solid all-rounder to use as my main phone. I've got a second line just for, found that I'm having to like give my number out to companies and stuff more. And I'm just like, I don't really want to be giving them my main number. So I thought, well, I'll take out a cheaper business line, which is why I got the Razer 50 Ultra.
Yeah, man, I really wish I would have had a chance to check that out. That looks like such a great.
Looks nice, yeah.
The outer screen is very nice. I could only get it in this one color, which is the sort of blue. If it wants to focus.
Yeah, it's like a bluish, dark blue, black.
It's like a racing stripe.
Oh, I see the stripe down the middle. Okay, that's nice.
Oh, it's nice. Yeah, I like that.
It feels quite nice, but I still prefer.
No, dude, that colorway is so good.
And I still prefer the setup in general. So I'm going to be doing a video on this because I found it quite interesting to compare these. Because what I was going to do is I was going to get the Razer 50 Ultra on the line and sell on the Razer 50. Well, I don't need both. I'll just get rid of them. I'm liking the Razer 50 more.
That's interesting.
Now, why?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I guess the question is why.
Exactly. Because that screen's very nice. It's a very nice thing, and you do get faster storage. You get a more powerful SoC, higher refresh rates on both screens.
Yeah, but that difference in price, though, that price point really drives that lower one, which is actually is the Razer 40 Ultra, right? It's the same. Essentially, it would be the same phone.
Yeah, exactly. But you've got a less powerful SoC in there. But there is a bigger battery in that now, in the standard Razer 50. And it's got a MediaTek 7300X in there, Dimensity 7300X, which mid-range chip does the job very nicely, but it's also very, very efficient. So it does everything that I want it to do absolutely fine. The 50 Ultra does feel a little bit faster with that 8S Gen 3.
Yeah.
It's got a slightly smaller battery, and it also sips power a lot more power than the Razer 50. So you actually take a hit on battery life, even if you're just watching YouTube, for instance, on Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Right.
You'll notice that the 50 Ultra is losing battery at like twice the rate.
Yeah, that orange is great, but
pretty significant.
It's really significant.
And that Timo Magenta Razer was pretty slick too. I don't even like phones, but
what I quite like about this is that when if you've got fairly big hands like me anyway, and you've got it on the back there's that little lip of
you're not on the screen
material there. You're not on the screen, whereas when you're in the 50 Ultra,
your fingers right on the top end
on the screen there like that, and it
also.
Just,
you know what I ran into? What I ran into with when I had a case on the front part of the Razer 40 Ultra, I could not get the drop down to come. It would block the drop down, and I don't know. And I tried to take my finger and kind of push. Even at one point I would actually take my thumb and kind of shove the case, that top, that piece. I would kind of bend it up a little bit to just try, and I still couldn't trigger it. The only time I could get the drop down to work on the front screen is if I had no clamshell on it at all. If on the back I had it, but then it was weird because then I had it on the back, but then when I opened up the front, it really wasn't protected either. It was weird. Like I could not get that drop down, that notification drop down. It would not work when I had a case on the Razer 40. And I think that's right. And remember Sean, and then also when he was on the chat, we were talking about the bezels, right, on the foldables and bezels on the Duo. And folks, bezels serve a purpose.
Yeah.
Please understand that it's great to have a phone that goes screen to screen, edge to edge. I get all that, but man, if you're trying to use the phone, there's edge detection and it works pretty good. But man, trust me, anybody who complains about a bezel, I don't think you're seeing it for what it really is trying to do. I don't think they want to have the bezel other than you had to have a place to hold the goddamn thing. And every time I had my Duo, I already had it out. for some reason. But having the bezel here, like on the bottom, you weren't touching the screen. You could hold the device and you could hold it like this, right, with your thumb. Hold it like you're supposed to, like a book, right?
Like a book.
And you wouldn't have any chance of accidental touch, right? It's just like it's okay with having bezels. Now, again, does aesthetically look pleasing? No. If you're not really messing with, all that kind of stuff, I get it. And Jermaine, that's fine. You hate bezels, and you have some issues you need to work through with that bezel.
The thing is, Jermaine, it's shallow. It's so shallow.
Right. It's just
shallow,
it seems like
shallow person, Jermaine.
To me, it seems like if you're bitching about the bezels, you're looking for shit to bitch about. And I'm like, again, it depends on the phone. on this kind of a phone, you want to have bezels. Like on this kind of, now on a slab
I'd love
phone,
to see Jermaine review a Surface Duo camera. Just saying.
Oh God. And no Gcam. No Gcam. He's just gonna have to fucking plow through the original cam. Oh, dude.
Jermaine, he'll get some good shots though. Still,
he would get good shots, but I think his soul would implode. I don't think he could do it.
I destroy him.
I would think it would probably be
big for a good video.
Oh hell!
It would.
I would tell you what.
His last video,
Jermaine, if you are willing to do that and suffer through that disaster of this potato ass camera, I'll send you this Duo to the Netherlands and let you try. And no Gcam.
Probably cheaper if I sent him mine.
Imagine.
Probably so, because
the content, Jermaine. Imagine it.
It would be good. And
the bezels on the camera, it's just.
Now realize that it's gonna like literally get maybe 100 views because nobody except for maybe the three here have a Duo.
Do quite well with it. I think it'd do quite good.
I think it would do quite well. I think it'd do better than a Sony video. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, import would be crazy. No, again, I sent stuff over to Joe, and I don't think it weighed very much. It cost me like a couple $100 to send.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm like, and again, and I don't say it to Joe to make him feel bad. I'm just like, I'm thinking like, how the fuck? Like, I understand during the pandemic, I realized that things are constrained. I get it, supply chains. I get, but why is it that after like in 2024, why the fuck is? Why would it be if I'm sending a couple of coloring books and a couple of things that? Why should it cost a couple $100? Everything I sent to Joe maybe cost me $60 retail, like the things I bought for Saoirse. But actually, I think that pair costs a little bit more.
It's up for the challenge.
But the fact that I think sending things should not cost more than the things that you're actually sending.
I mean, we can order things from the US, and it doesn't cost anywhere near that for delivery.
Like, so I don't understand just and I went to UPS and FedEx and all of them, and there was like, and Becky's like, hey, I sent this up to Joe. I'm like, hey, great. How much? She goes, oh, you don't want to know. You're gonna lose your shit. And I was like, how much? He was like, I think it was like $200. I'm like, you know what? That's nuts. Just to ship shit to the UK. But again, it wasn't. I sent stuff
the last thing he shipped out to me.
Well, the problem is that I sent stuff before the pandemic, and it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't even near that. And I can understand like after it kind of, I thought it would kind of maybe normalize. But I guess they figured, well, we got these fuckers paying for it, so might as well keep them paying for it, right?
That's why when I got that chocolate for you, I got it from Amazon.com.
Right. And
you just deliver straight to you.
Domestic. Yeah. So just getting it to you is crazy. But yeah, we're going to send it to you, Jermaine. You're going to have to go around. And the next, and you maybe not Arnhem, but you need to pick another city in the Netherlands and do your whole day in the life history thing. And you're only recording all that shit with this goddamn thing.
Yeah.
And then watch how your life basically comes to an end. You're going to want to jump into a fjord or a river or whatever the hell they got going on down there. You're gonna want to jump in that damn thing.
Going back to bezels. What I dislike is when they're not symmetrical. You know, if like a really big chin or a really big forehead, I don't like that.
A little bit.
Now, is it now? If it was off by a millimeter or two, would that bother you enough? It's like, okay, the top bezel is 1.2 millimeters, but the bottom one's 1.7 millimeters, so it's not symmetrical, and you can kind of notice it, but you kind of don't.
I'll be honest.
Yeah, it did bug me, but it wasn't. You wouldn't call.
That's why I like the Nothing phone. Nothing phone was beautifully symmetrical all the way around. Really nice.
Right. Well, I think Carl Pei decided to make it that way. Yeah. I think if you're going to have bezels, they should be symmetrical, even if the bottom and the chin and the forehead are going to be kind of, you know, like I remember the only other Sony I had other than the one I bought that Dan told me not to buy after I bought it, but that was okay. I didn't watch his video, so that's my fault. The 5.4. Because it's going to overheat, and it did, by the way.
Yeah.
but even the XZ1, I remember had the old XZ1, and it had like really massive bezels, but they were identical, so it really didn't bug me. And bezels have never really bugged me that much.
Yeah, the Xperia bezels now, it's, you know, just top and bottom even. But I like the fact that it's got that slight bezel rather than having a hole in the screen. So I don't really care.
It makes a whole lot of sense. Put the selfie in a bezel. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I prefer that setup.
See, like, I don't get the whole dynamic island. I don't know why iPhone just didn't have a bezel and make it. I don't know.
I think it's just because they wanted it to look different.
Yeah, because it's
you see it now and you're just like, that's an iPhone.
That's an iPhone.
Just
yeah,
like you did with the notch to start with. Like you're like, oh, that's an iPhone.
Did you see that pixel-looking iPhone leak?
Yes.
I don't think that's going to happen.
It was a little bit sort of like Pixel, but sort of at the point where it was like Nexus 6P, sort of where the cameras used to be at the top.
I liked it, to be fair. I like it, but it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
No.
If it does, I will eat this hat.
Yeah. You've seen it, Sam? The pixel-looking... It's the iPhone 17. It looks like a pixel, like the camera's across. Like...
well, I don't know if that's partially true, or I can't imagine that iPhone would go away from that.
It's not going to happen. No.
No, but I think it's funny. And I guess that's really what it is. That's really a commentary on this kind of hamad between the fact that I think people have kind of decided that again. I don't know. I don't know if it's true, but it's like the 9 series Pixels have gotten way more love, traction, and acceptance than anything else. And I don't think they're that much different software-wise from the 8 series. The only really major difference to me is the hardware, right? I don't really particularly like this island. I want the Geordie LaForge. Like I want the 8. Like I liked the 6. To me, if you're asking me what was the best Pixel, the 6 Pro. I really think that design.
I like the 6 Pro.
I liked the design. I thought the hardware was really great. I like having the. I don't really necessarily like the flat edges. I mean, it's okay, but dude, that phone.
Look at that.
Can you imagine that phone in the orange, with the orange, like the Pixel 4 XL colorways on that device? Yeah. Oh, it would be so good, dude.
And I like the flat screen of the 8 though.
Yeah, I agree. And well, I think we've kind of we've all agreed that we're kind of like effectively done with the curved displays. I mean, other than Chinese OEM, I think we're finally done with all that. I think again, it's that push to iPhone, right? iPhones are flat edges, right? They're flat screens, flat backs, camera islands. Like, I don't dislike this. I will tell you that the Pixel Fold XL, I agree with Shane, scary if literal. I think that camera housing on the back of the 9 Fold XL is atrocious looking.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's ugly. It's just make it the same as the 9s, right? I know obviously it's a different form factor. I get it. I understand, but yeah, it sucks. But yeah, no bezels a must. Oh, you know what, Jermaine? I love you anyway, but I disagree with you. There are a lot to be uneven bezels for the win.
He's taking the piss.
He's taking the piss. I don't know what that means. Is he taking a piss, or he's basically agreeing to lose? I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know.
Taking the biscuit, taking the Mickey.
Taking the Mickey.
Like,
having a laugh.
So you're gonna explain
joking with
a slang with another slang.
Yes.
We're gonna mansplain.
You have a lot of them.
I know. Taking the piss. Okay.
Having a laugh. He's joking.
Having a laugh.
Mate.
I'm just fucking with you. Oh, I'm fucking with you.
That's it.
Oh,
just fucking with you.
Yeah,
okay, got it. I was gonna say that. Why do you guys have
we-
like 43
we don't say
different
those
slang
things.
words? I know.
Learn the lingo, Sam. Come on.
I'm trying. Hey, you know what? I'll tell you, in the 4 years that I've been on this show with Joe, I have done. I think I've shifted and tried. I'm trying. Like,
yeah, you're getting there, mate.
Right. It seems like
You're
I've
having
done,
a laugh, mate.
Yeah, I get it. Like, you're having a laugh. A fucking giggle, right? I
He
get it.
He loves all this bollocks.
I'm trying to do my best to try to kind of like learn the lingo and especially the slang. But the problem is in the UK, the slang is so varied. It's hard to keep it straight, and especially when you don't have exposure to it on a daily or monthly basis. It's really hard to kind of keep it straight. I'm trying as an American, man. I'm really culturally expanding my horizons. I'm trying.
I need to message you more. I need to message you more.
Right. It's like, I don't know what's going on, but I just love how when it's like taking the piss and he goes, oh yeah, taking a Mickey. It's like, you're not helping me because that doesn't make you're explaining a slang with more slang. I don't know what's going on. Okay, I'm fucking with
funny on purpose. Okay. I thought it was funny.
I love it. It's cracking me up. You just mess with the American. That's fine. That's fair. Well, so Dan's camera finally shit the bed. Oh, there he is. Oh, hey.
Dan's had enough.
That's all. So I just thought I'd try and plug it in and see if it.
You know what's funny is you still have that flicker and that green thing.
I know.
I think it's stream. It has to be StreamYard.
I'm using the same capture card. That's all. So
right. I think it has to be StreamYard. It has to be StreamYard because you're the only one. StreamYard. Right, and so I think
I don't understand.
And plus, folks, StreamYard is not cheap anymore. Folks, if you've been paying attention, StreamYard kind of went kind of crazy with their pricing structure. So I'm trying to see about maybe switching over to Restream or some other kind of.
Yeah, Restream had a Black Friday sale on, so it might be worth checking quick.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out because it's not. The problem is I really like having StreamYard. We've been using it. I've been using it the entire time, but it's I think for price for performance. Again, remember this show really wasn't designed to be a podcast live stream. It was really a podcast, and we just happened to live stream this. So it's all good. So now. Jermaine, thanks for sending over 6 other heroes, mate. I'm taking the piss now. That's probably fair. And actually did take a piss earlier, so that's probably fair. But I don't think it's the same thing. I actually did urinate. Right, exactly. Thank you, Jermaine, so much for sending over the extra kind of quid, mate. I know that's very appreciated. Remember that, folks, and when we get those kind of things, nobody has to do any of that kind of stuff. We just like bringing the stuff to you and enjoying talking to everybody and having a good community out here on a Sunday. So we really appreciate you, Jermaine. Thank you so much. And we're going to send you a duo, and you're going to have to make a video based on it, and you're going to want to kill yourself.
Let's see it so much.
He's going to want to kill himself.
It'd be better if I send him mine, though, because it'll be a lot cheaper than...
Right, exactly. We're going to send Joe's.
He knows that there's no rear cameras and that he has to just take photos of himself all day.
Right. Yeah. You're going to have to, turn the phone. You're going to have to do one of these jobs.
Right? Jermaine likes doing selfies. He loves it.
He loves selfies.
He loves it. He really does.
Right. Well, I mean, if you were that good looking, I can imagine really why you... Right. I mean, if you're that good looking, shit, I can imagine why you want to do a lot of selfies. Me, I don't like doing selfies.
He likes a challenge, he says.
He likes a challenge.
The Razor's pretty good for selfies. It's great.
Yeah, it's a good phone. But I mean, the Duo's camera, especially if you have a Gcam port.
See, good luck. I knew he wouldn't know.
Wait, he only has one display camera? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So Jermaine, so look here, bro. So this is the back of the phone, right? Right? Back, right? Front.
Dear me.
What do you notice? No cameras, no nothing, no displays. The camera, my bro,
he's accepted it now.
Is right here, right there. Yep.
No take back.
That's it, right? That's a flash.
Massive sensor.
And that's a camera. It's 11 megapixel. Have fun with that. And if you want it, and I will show you. So here's what we're gonna do.
It'd be a great video, though, Jermaine.
I think
it really would.
So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna launch the camera.
People would find it very amusing.
And I have the Gcam port, so I can't remember which one it is.
Especially if you could pull a different.
Oh, that's a Gcam. I don't want that. Okay. So hold on. Hold on.
I've taken a few nice shots with my Duo.
Can you take? Does this camera work with the volume rocker?
Right. I think so. I don't know.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. You got the camera on one side, right? And this is the camera, right? And this is the other side. So in order to use, right, if you want to use the camera, you have to turn it, right? You got to turn it and look at it like this, right? It's a selfie camera forever. So then you got to take your picture, right? That's all you get.
You can have it on the other screen, so you can have it
right
facing out.
Now you can do this, right? You can have this, right? And this is what's kind of cool about the Duo. I'm going to try to do this without looking. Well,
can you shoot RAW?
I don't think so. Hold on. So you can switch the screens.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of cool. And then, in order to take, if I was going to take a picture, if I want a selfie, I have to turn it back on myself. And then you got to double tap the screen. And then you get that, which is which is hilarious because now you're seeing me. There's the selfie, but on the other screen.
Oh, mine's dead.
It's weird. His is dead. And then if you want to take a picture, well, let's see. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Wait. Oh, it just turns it off.
Oh,
I have no idea what's going on. Anyway, so it's oh yeah, it'll drive you crazy. You can work with it. You just gotta mess with it a little bit. I'm telling you, mate, it's okay. If you're looking for terrible video and potato camera,
like if Jermaine can work magic with that, you can work magic with a budget phone.
I think Jermaine would enjoy some of his experience with this.
Dude, I'm telling you, I love using this
Kindle,
phone.
man. As a Kindle, it's like the best thing ever.
Right?
Yeah,
absolutely. And I tried to I was going to give it to my wife, but she had.
I did feel like the Animagic V3 sort of feels very similar in the way that it closes. You know, that sort of soft, shut to it. Like it just,
yeah,
it feels like that.
Yeah, I know, but nothing beats opening this
up.
Quite
snappy.
Right. But you know, when you can, if you have it, you can kind of, or you can drop it
on the floor
right, on my desk. But it's nice that you can kind of do this, right? You kind of.
Yeah,
dude, it never. And here's the thing: even if you're pissed off, like you can really hang up, like, you know what? Fuck you, right? And it won't break the screen. Yeah, see?
He says.
Great. And you can just shut it.
Oh, my screen's smashed.
Dude, I will argue to the day I die that this is the best way to handle a foldable as far as durability and use, because
agreed 100%.
That you can bend it back. Now, if you have when they make a foldable that bends back on itself, if you think that gave people anxiety to just open it and close it and then break the screen, can you imagine how much anxiety they're gonna have holding it completely back on itself? They're gonna freak out, and nobody's gonna want to do it because they're gonna this thing's gonna shatter as soon as I do it. But yeah, dude, I'm telling you, I think there was still a market for a dual screen productivity tool. And yeah, and like I said, I try to give this to my wife. She had a Nook, right? She doesn't have the Kindle, and the Nook. There is a Nook app. It won't split like the Kindle app does.
Oh, okay.
Only the Kindle app will split like an actual book with 2 pages, 2 sides, like a book. Old school closing the phone, right? Just like an old clamshell, right? You're done with it, dude. I'm telling you, man. I would if I could get up. If the only thing that stops me is if I could get, and that's why I might try to use. If it had NFC, if I can get the Android 15 on this, and I could,
I really want to do that.
I have a battery life that was kind of pretty decent, dude. I would use a Duo and rock that son bitch until the end of time, until it blew up.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it. I mean, what else you gotta lose? It's not like you can do anything else. If you brick it, who cares? It only costs you $200. You're not using it anyway, so it's a perfect way to just get in there and try it. But I mean, if you watch Shane's video, he did it. It looked pretty. So you just got to pick the partition and then flash the ROM, and it's done, dude. It's pretty slick.
Yeah.
The Android 15 is pretty nice on it, man. I'm gonna try to give it a go.
It's worth a go.
The only problem I've got is I ain't got a PC,
dude.
I know.
I love how you got all these phones, man, and then you've not got like a laptop or a PC.
Right? It's just like I don't understand. I got
come on,
thousands of dollars in phones and cameras, but yet a computer. Who needs that shit in 20?
I know. I need to sort that out. I need to sort that out.
A computer. I mean, have you seen the Curry sale at the minute? Like they've got like on Black Friday, they've got like Snapdragon laptops for like 600.
Yeah, but I want to get a camera first, don't I?
You need a computer, mate.
Yeah, you do.
Hmm? I do need to. I need to.
Or just sell like 5 of your phones.
Well, to be fair, I might sell the Pixel. I was going to sell the OnePlus, but now I've done a swap deal because I'm nice like that.
Who'd you swap with?
Mac.
Big Mac.
Okay, that's well. That's acceptable.
Yeah, that's acceptable. He's given me an S23 Ultra and a watch.
You already have an S24.
Yeah, no, it's just a sell. I'm only doing it purely to sort him out.
Right, sort him out. And then
I actually think the S23 Ultra and the watch on eBay will go for more than the OnePlus would have.
Trink.
Yep.
Yeah, it'd be close.
S23 Ultras are selling quite a good price.
Yeah, that's a good. I think it's. And there's some cases. There's some arguments that people have said the S23 is actually nice.
The S23 Ultra is nice.
Yeah, it's a great device. Really great device.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, man. I mean, well, I'm just glad. All that matters is really getting Max sorted out. If you got him taken care of, that's all good. But I think you're gonna be close. I think if you're
enjoying it.
S23 with a watch,
the S23 Ultra,
I think you're going to be breaking pretty close.
An S24 Ultra, and sell something else.
Pixel 9 Pro XL.
Pixel 9. Mate, you've got a camera and a laptop there.
Yeah, get yourself a laptop, or don't,
and your tablet.
Yeah, I need to sell that because I don't really use it.
There you go. Sorted.
That's why I don't buy them, because I know I just know on the front end I'm not going to use a tablet. I just not a tablet guy. So
I like it, but this is going to sound funny. I actually don't. I think the screen's a bit too big. That sounds funny, doesn't it? But
that's what she
said. I've got the S8 Ultra. I think I'd actually prefer the Plus.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think so. Yeah. So I mean, you got some choices, and it would just get yourself a computer because you need one, mate. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So, you got the hardware. A laptop.
Laptop's
sure.
Good to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then if you've got a camera as well, you can use that for your streaming, for everything else.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And then you don't have to worry about all this other weird stuff. Well, anyway, folks, we are at 1 hour 25 minutes of all. And this is how it always goes, mate. It's always me not thinking we're gonna have enough content. Hopefully, these two chaps have got something going on because I got a whole bag.
I've got nothing going on. It's fine
to make this work an hour, but we went over 1 hour and 25. We could have gotten for an hour. So, folks, do yourself a favor. Check out the Bunch of Phonies. That's usually on Saturdays. It's on the Twix, right? So check that out.
It is on the Twix.
It's on the Twix. It's a live stream. Check that out because Dan's not about that blue sky life, and then also check us out also as well. And then check out his other channels. I mean, Dan's on the YouTube, so you should check him out. He does a lot of good stuff, and he also writes articles. And then where are you at now? Writing articles at Android Central? I can't remember.
I'm not doing any of that website stuff currently. It's just my own stuff. Like Medium and Substack. So either. But Medium's probably the easiest place.
Yeah, so give me those links. We'll make sure we put those in the show notes so that way we can drive some traffic and go read Dan's stuff because he's a smart man.
GroundedTech everywhere, basically.
GroundedTech everywhere, and he's a smart man. And you should check out the Bunch of Phonies on Saturday because that's always a good time. It's a lot of fun. Him and Mac do a good job. And then Dan goes up. We have a community. Right, we have a community. Yeah. I'm glad that somebody's got a community because me and Joe don't have anybody. It's just me.
Yeah, we haven't got a MeWe with 9 people in.
Right, and then the fact that I never do the MeWe, so I'm terrible about that.
And you've got us. You are a phony as well, so let's
absolutely. We're kind of like we're phony. So, anyways, we check out Dan. We'll be back next Sunday. I think we might have a reschedule for Ace. I have to confirm with him during the week, so I know. And then we need to reach out to Eric and everybody else. And again, remember, enjoy your tech. Don't be a dick. And try to check out some of these, support these other creators and support people like Dan and read their articles. And if you feel inclined, give them some love, a sub, and maybe throw them a couple quid, just because they're doing this stuff. They're doing it for you, but it's also a lot of fun. We enjoy having you guys on anyway. So anyway, Joe, anything else you want to touch on before we wrap this whole silliness up for the rest of the day?
No, I think they've had enough of me today. We'll wrap that up.
Absolutely.
Anything from Dan?
What's that?
Anything from you, mate?
Anything from me? I was too busy getting, wine and Jermaine up.
Right.
No, but I mean, I might not be on for a little while now with the kiddo arriving shortly. So I hope everyone has a great Christmas, New Year.
Absolutely, mate.
I'll be disappearing. Probably.
That's okay, and we understand that, and let us know. Yeah. But we're excited for you, but we're also excited for you. But we're also, me and Joe have kind of been down that path. I'm a few years down that path, and it's your life will change, and it's in a good way, man.
It.
Yep. Anyways, for myself, for Joe, for soon to be Dad Dan, thanks for coming to the Nomad Tech Project with Sam and Joe. Thanks for swinging by again. Download the podcast, share it with your friends. We'll catch you next Sunday, same bat time, same bat channel. Again, we love you guys. Take care. Enjoy your time.
Bye-bye.
Next Sunday.
Jermaine's a legend.